this land.
If you grew up in the late 90s or early 2000s, you definitely have deep, lingering psychological trauma thanks to one specific cartoon dog. Courage the Cowardly Dog was famous for being a kids show that absolutely did not belong on a kids network. It was basically Sleep Paralysis, the animated series. But what if I told you we've been watching this masterpiece completely wrong for over 2 decades? What if every terrifying, nightmarish monster Courage faced wasn't a monster at all? What if they were just totally normal, everyday people, and we've been completely brainwashed by the ultimate unreliable narrator? Welcome back, detectives. The Fox Detective is reopening our darkest case yet. Okay, let's quickly set the stage. Courage is a timid pink rescue dog living with an elderly couple, the sweet, oblivious Muriel and the grumpy, mallet-wielding Eustace Bag. They live in a dilapidated farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, where they are constantly under siege by demons, aliens, zombies, and weirdly aggressive cats. But here is the massive contradiction everyone missed. Why would Muriel, a woman who is practically a saint, be so incredibly unbothered by literal demons attacking her house? Why doesn't she ever notice the paranormal activity happening 3 feet away from her face? Because there is no paranormal activity. The theory is simple, but it changes everything. Courage is just a normal dog. The show we are watching isn't a supernatural thriller. It's just the real world, filtered directly through the terrified, paranoid eyes of a shelter dog with severe anxiety. Let's start with the most undeniable piece of evidence: the setting itself. The Bag family lives in the middle of nowhere. It's depicted as a barren, infinite wasteland with no neighbors, no roads, and no civilization for miles. But think about this from a dog's perspective. Eustace is cheap, old, and incredibly lazy. He isn't exactly taking Courage on 2-mile hikes around the suburbs. For an indoor dog who never gets taken on walks, the property line is the edge of the universe. Beyond the front yard is literally nowhere. They likely live in a totally normal rural neighborhood or maybe even a quiet suburb. But because Courage is small, sheltered, and deeply territorial, any stranger pulling into their driveway feels like an alien invasion. When the mailman approaches the porch, to a dog that's a menacing intruder. When a door-to-door salesman knocks, that's a literal demon trying to breach the walls. And Muriel? She isn't oblivious to the monsters. She just sees a delivery driver dropping off a package, while her dog loses his absolute mind in the corner. But let's escalate this. Let's look at one of the most traumatizing cartoon characters in history, Freaky Fred. In the show, Fred is Muriel's eccentric nephew who speaks entirely in creepy rhymes and locks himself in the bathroom with Courage to shave all his fur off. He is framed as a literal psychopath. But pull back the cartoon filter for a second. What is actually happening here? Muriel's nephew is a pet groomer giving the dog a haircut. If you've ever owned a rescue dog, you know the sound of electric clippers is a horror movie soundtrack to them. Dogs hate the groomer. To Courage, being trapped in a small tiled room with a strange man wielding buzzing metal blades is a near-death experience. Fred isn't a serial killer. He's just a weird dude trying to trim a very uncooperative dog. And it doesn't stop there. Think about Cats, the sinister red feline who runs various evil businesses. He isn't a criminal mastermind. He's just the neighborhood stray cat who bullies Courage through the screen door. What about Le Quack, the French con artist duck? Ever seen a dog react to a duck in the park? They are loud, aggressive, and totally unpredictable. To Courage, a mean duck on the farm is a master manipulator threatening his family. But here is the climax. The wait what? Moment that will completely change how you watch this show forever. We have to talk about Eustace. Eustace is always painted as this cruel, villainous owner. But what does he actually do? He reads the paper and puts on a cheap green mask to startle his dog. He's a grumpy old man who doesn't understand why his wife's dog constantly barks at the wind. He isn't abusing Courage, he's just annoyed by a pet that never stops screaming. And why is Courage so terrified of absolutely everything? In the canonical finale, we learn Courage's backstory. As a puppy, his parents were taken away by an evil veterinarian, who launched them into space. Translate that from dog vision to reality. Courage was a puppy when his parents went to the vet, and never came back. They were simply taken away. Courage ended up alone in an alley where Muriel found him. Courage has severe PTSD and abandonment issues. He isn't fighting actual zombies, mummies, or aliens. He is just a very good boy who loves his mom so much that he is willing to face his most paralyzing fears every single day. He barks at vacuums, growls at shadows, and fights off stray cats. He does it all because he thinks it's his job to protect Muriel. He isn't just a cowardly dog. He is the bravest, most loyal dog in the world, fighting a war only he can see. So what do you think? Did this completely shatter your childhood nostalgia, or does it make you appreciate our pink little hero even more? Drop down into the comments and tell me, who was the scariest villain from Courage the Cowardly Dog in your opinion? I'm still recovering from King Ramses, honestly. If your mind is officially blown, hit that subscribe button like Courage hits the panic button. Don't let the algorithm become your next sleep paralysis demon. Stay curious, stay brave, and the Fox Detective will see you in the next theory.